welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. I'm Adriana, and today, guys, do you remember how on Monday we went to Barnes & Noble to look for a book? Well, hopefully you watched that video, because at the end of the video, it showed which book we got. And we got this one called On Wings of Words. If you did not get to see that video yet, I will post it in the description box below. So before we get started, of course you know what I'm going to say. Make sure to find a comfortable spot so that you can listen or read along if you do have the book at home, so you can read along and listen to me at the same time. So I'm in my bed right now and it's comfortable for me, so let's get started. On Wings of Words, The Extraordinary Life of Emily Dickinson by Jennifer Byrne, illustrated by Becca Statlander. On Wings of Words. In a little room in the dark before dawn, a baby girl was born. Her parents celebrated the holiday they called Emily. Emily met the world and began to explore. To little Emily, every bird, every flower, every bee, or breeze, or slant of light seemed to speak to her. She explored with her eyes, her ears, her thoughts, and found new words for everything she was discovering. The bee is not afraid of me. I know the butterfly. The brooks laugh louder when I come. When thunder crashed and lightning flashed, Emily got scared and called it the fire. Emily adored her older brother, Austin. She said there was always such a hurrah whenever he was. She loved her school friends, who she said were a warmth as near as if the sun were shining in your hand. Every day, Emily's life rippled with new joys and swayed with new feelings. It was clear Emily was becoming a person, in many ways like other people, only so more. Her happies were happier, her sads were sadder. Her thoughts were deeper, her desires were stronger. And oh, there was so much that Emily loved. My heart grows alight so fast that I can mount a grasshopper and gallop around the world, and not fatic him anyway. Most of all, Emily loved her books, the strongest friends of the soul books. To Emily, every book was an adventure and distant journey on a sea of words. And if a book was forbidden, well, that didn't stop Emily. Like the book she wanted that Austin smuggled into the house and hid inside the piano, Emily rushed it up to her room and read it in delicious secrecy. Every story she read at night by candlelight or in the garden's midday sun was a new passion, a ray of light. But there were shadows too. In the 1880s, sorrow was a daily compassion. The sorrow of diseases, incurable, accidents untreatable, and deaths too soon, too close. All this frightened Emily and flooded her mind with questions. Emily tried to find answers at home. She looked for answers at her church. She searched for answers at school. But everywhere she looked, she was told to obey without asking, to believe without knowing why. So she began to put her faith in what she could see and understand. In the name of the bee, and of the butterfly, and of the breeze. Amen. When her very religious school principal separated the class into hoopers and no hoopers, Emily was put in the group without hope. Yet Emily did have hope, her own kind. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. So with her hope, she sought her truth. I am out with lanterns looking for myself. Then, like rays of sun breaking through the clouds, her thoughts and feelings started to come to her as words, new words, her own words. The robins, bumblebees, and daisies she loved, the dark diseases and frightening deaths, the unknowable God and mysterious heaven, all came pouring out as poems. Things are budding and springing and singing. Answers she couldn't find in other people, she started to find in herself. I have been dreaming a golden dream, with eyes all the while wide open. Her poem soothed her sadness, gave her strength, set her free. With the power of her words and the freedom of her imagination, she tasted spices in foreign lands and hid inside a flower. She leaned against the sun, dwelt in a house of possibilities, and rode a carriage to the ends of time. Look at how pretty this is. That is amazing. She became a bird, a worm, a ghost, a god, a beggar, a king, a somebody, a nobody. I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us. Don't tell, they'd banish us, you know. Now, dreary to be somebody. Now public like a frog. To tell your name the livelong June to an admiring bog. She called her poems my letter to the world that never wrote to me. And so with her words, her mind, Emily dove into the darkest depths of the sea, and of sadness she rose up to the glowing heights of the sun and of joy. Emily saw the inner world was bigger than all the world outside. The brain is wider than the sky, for put them side by side. The one the other will contain with ease and you beside. Emily spent more and more time in her room, writing, creating. She ventured out less and less. Exhilaration is within. As Emily's inner world grew bigger, her outer world grew smaller. Yes, there were things she still loved in the worldly world. She loved her gardens, the bees, the springtime, and the wind, combining its fingers through the trees, and of course her family, a few very special friends, her big dog, Carlo, and children. Emily always loved children. But most people she saw rarely, or not at all. Emily began to dress in white, white like clouds, like the foam on a wave, white like a cocoon in her room from which butterflies were born. Butterflies that were poems that flew with Emily on wings of words. People in the town said Emily was weird, Emily was strange, but Emily didn't care what they said of her. Her world was somewhere else. My country is truth. Emily never stopped writing, never stopped exploring. With every day and every poem she saw, more, discovered more, traveled deeper, soared higher for the rest of her life. On a Saturday in May 1886, Emily died, slipping into the eternity she had wondered about and written about all her life. Then something wonderful and amazing happened. Emily's sister, Vinnie, opened drawers, trunks, boxes, and closets, and found hundreds and hundreds of Emily's poems, more than anyone ever imagined. Poems that, on the wings of Emily's words, flew out and away into the future and around the world. Alright, so this is just the ending. If you'd like to read this, you could pause the video and read it really quick. I don't think it's part of the story. I think it's just like an ending, little note. So yeah, the end. So I hope you all enjoyed this video on Wings of Words, The Extraordinary Life of Emily Dickinson. So this book was about Emily Dickinson's life. So I hope you all enjoyed. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I also just want to tell you this. I want to get up to 100 subscribers so then we can have a 100 subscribers party, and I cannot wait when we reach 100 subscribers because I already have the party all planned out and I am so excited. So make sure to go ahead and subscribe. Make that red subscribe button gray, so that means you're subscribed. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you all on Friday for Freedom Friday. Bye guys, love you all. I'm out for now. Adri out, and keep reading everyone.